They Bob, I haven't seen you in about 5 years. So it's a lot of stuff going on our headline news. We talk about Brittney.
Yeah, Brittney Griner.
Brittney, is it Griner?
Griner.
I think it's
She
Brittney
came out and spoke, right?
Griner, yeah.
Yeah. Now, have you seen her in the news, Wendy, today?
No, but I heard she
all
spoke, and I heard her main thing was she'll never go back.
Oh, to Russia?
She would go
She
as a
said she'll
team.
never again do
I
that.
wouldn't even go as a team.
She said, not Russia. They said out of the country.
Out of
She
the
said
country,
the only way
period.
she would go is as a team. If the team goes,
Oh, she don't even want to go out of the country?
she didn't say that.
Oh, you talking about the Russia?
Russia
She don't want to go to a
probably
third
no.
world country.
Oh.
But I know
third
she
world
said
country.
not by herself,
No,
and she won't play.
no.
She only would play
But
with
you
the.
know, it was deep because they said the
Americans.
reason
Yeah.
why the women, they said the reason why the women teams do that is because the men make so much more money. So they have to do something to make up for the money they don't get.
Yeah, get money.
They don't
overseas,
pay
and
them. They
very
don't pay them the
well.
way they pay the men, which
It's
is
No.
unfortunate.
not
It's
surprising.
unfortunate that she had that bad experience, and of course, with all that was going on with Russia, I'm thinking it's not going to slow a lot of women going to like Italy and countries like that. But
Right.
Russia, we'll probably think twice.
Third world countries where there's no guarantee you'll get out.
Right. That's not her world. Like she went to Russia. I bet she ain't gonna go to China.
Mm-mm.
Oh no,
Nowhere in
never that.
Stay away from Asia for a little bit.
Well, she's been speaking out recently. You can just share the screen.
You
Nicole.
share?
She's been speaking out recently. Court, we've been talking about the whole transgender male men who have transitioned to being females
Right.
and playing in female sports. So
Okay.
she's been speaking out in favor of it. So she's kind of against what the other athletes who are not in favor of it have said. It says Brittney Griner backs transgender participation in sports. A crime to separate someone for any, it's a crime to separate someone for any reason. Griner spoke to the media on Thursday ahead of the 2023 WNBA season and immediately weighed in on the major political debate in the country. Griner, who recently returned to the United States after nearly 10 months in captivity in Russia, was asked about legislation aimed at preventing transgender participation in sports. She said that ranks high on the list of things I'll be fighting for and speaking up against, Griner said when asked about ESPN reporter. She said, everyone deserves the right to play. Everyone deserves the right to come here, sit in these seats and feel safe and not feel like there's a threat or they can't be who they are or like it's just like all eyes on them. So let me see if we could play a little bit about what she said.
Good morning, Brittney. I'm Bill Roden from ESPN Landscape. It was really great to see you. It was good to know the prayers have been answered. The question, you've always represented so much throughout your entire career about access and, being able to do stuff. And I hate to put one more thing on your plate, but there are a number of states who are aggressively moving to prevent transgender athletes playing. And I was wondering, again, I hate to put one more thing on your plate, but in terms of on your radar, where is that? You're going to have a tremendous platform, but where is that going to be on your radar in terms of advocating for, athletes, all athletes, transgender athletes, be able to play?
That ranks high on the list of things that I'll be fighting for and speaking up against. Everyone deserves the right to play, deserves the right to come here, sit in these seats and feel safe and not feel like there's a threat or they can't be who they are, or like it's just all eyes on them. So I think it's a crime, honestly, to separate someone for any reason. So I definitely will be speaking up against that legislation and those laws that are trying to be passed for sure.
Okay, you're not sure. Here's the thing that I feel like with Brittney Griner, and I think she's missing the point.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we go ahead and put a wig on Seth Curry and let him go on and play in the NBA, the WNBA, and see how far,
Or LeBron James.
or let's put a wig on LeBron James
Mhm.
and let's see how far a lot of the women that are in the WNBA will get
Will they
playing
even have
against
the
them.
opportunity?
Now, if you don't feel like there's a difference between male and female sports,
Mhm.
then I feel like just like she advocates for transgenders to be able to compete
Mhm.
in any sport, she should be the person that should be saying break down the WNBA and the NBA. Let anybody who can play against each other and make the best man or woman win. Why does she advocate for the WNBA unless she sees there's a difference between male and female?
I was telling you the other day that it depends on the sport as well too, because this situation with sports and athletes and the transgenders, certain sports we already call out, wow, that transgender female still has muscle tones like a man and was very good when he was competing as a man. And when you're thinking about basketball, a lot of times, even the girls that are like Brittney, they feel like they can get on the court just as hard as LeBron James. So I'm wondering if her mind is only thinking basketball, because basketball, you think, like you're saying, even though she's a WNBA and not the NBA, she probably still sit there and go, I'm just as good as some of those NBA players, but I can't play with them because I am a female. So I don't know where her mind is on it, if it's just that sport.
Then I want to hear her say which NBA player that plays her position that she thinks she's just as good or better in. I want to see them play against each other. I want to see her NBA. I'm not talking about some guy playing basketball, some guy in college, or because she's probably better than a whole lot of guys that play basketball.
Right.
We talking about NBA, the top of the top of the top.
It's a whole different animal. I don't know why, if they're so proud of what they are, why can't they just accept the fact that they are not women? But they are who they are, and they should be in their own category: male, female, transgender. That's my feeling. Why? Be proud of who you are. Don't try to be us. Be proud of who you chose to be, and stop trying to be a woman. You are not a woman.
Think about it
this way. Female. You're not.
Think about it this way. On the other end of that, we're all saying what we were thinking as far as transgenders. It's unfair for them to play if they are professional athletes in the sport they're transitioning to. So as plan B, they can't play. I'm thinking Brittney is thinking you're pushing them away, first of all. So she's going to be protective of the LGBTQ. She's going to protect her own. She's gay. She's going to
protecting gay. She's protecting transgender. Because there's a lot of gay people who don't.
I know, no, but she's in my opinion, she is protecting the LGBTQ. Whatever way you are in that group, whether you are trans.
Did you know we're part of the alphabet? We're the cis women. We're part of the alphabet.
I'm not a cis woman. Nobody.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So you say she protected LGBTQ, they put us in the alphabet.
They would be proud of what they are. If I was transgender, I wouldn't be trying to compete with women. I said, look, I'm a transgender. Let's do that. I am a transgender. I'm proud to be a transgender, and I recognize the fact that I'm different from a woman. You be proud of that. Who you
gonna play with if you want to play in the NBA? Who you gonna play with?
Scientifically, it's not fair.
And that's what she's probably saying. If we're saying don't play because it's not fair,
right?
She's saying that's wrong to reject them. We got to find a group for them. What's the group for them to play? They're athletes. They're athletes. I'm playing devil's advocate on this one.
When we wasn't able to play with white people, we created the Negro League.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. So, Ebony and Jet magazine.
We created the Negro League. And then we were so good, they started looking at the Negro League and go, shoot, we could be making money off of them. Why we need to take start bringing some of these guys over.
But as their own league, the Negro League didn't make as much money, of course, as the major sports.
The WNBA don't make as much money as the NBA.
So how they if you were to sit and compare that, if you were to sit to a person that's in the LGBTQ as a transgender, fighting for civil rights just like us, the people of color, if you were to give that example, it won't work for them because they pulled our good players out of the Negro League to play in the major league.
Well, here you go, devil's advocate.
How you gonna pull a transgender out to play with what, the men?
Well, here you go, devil's advocate. Here you go, devil's advocate. So sorry. You just won't be able to play anymore. You just have to retire at 21 or 26. Because what happens is, look what happened with Leah Thomas, the swimmer. The one girl, the little white girl that's appearing in front of all these lawmakers, she trying to get it where they can't compete. She was the top of the top swimmer. This girl was winning all medals. She was the top swimmer. And then Leah Thomas with her 6'18", 19 self comes in with long arms, longer than Michael Phelps. And she almost tied the girl. The girl almost tied. So that show you that girl was good. But she was swimming against a swimmer in a male's thing. When he was a man, he was number 600 and something.
Right.
She's not swimming against Michael Phelps. That's what I said. I think people would take them a little bit more serious if it was somebody like Michael Phelps who transitioned, because he's the top even as a man. So if he transitions, where can he go? He can't go anywhere.
It hasn't happened yet. That's what I'm saying. This is a new beginning of something that we need to, the sports world has to figure this
but
one out.
Nobody wants to see the 600 and something swimmer as a man transition to a woman, and now he's number one. And also, did you know this? He hasn't had any surgery. She hasn't gone through the whole full transition.
So she don't have the full female part.
And this girl said she walked around the room,
dressing room,
the shower naked
as a male
with the penis hanging.
See, that's a
woman.
No.
Come on, y'all. When does it stop? So then a woman transitioning to a man
who hasn't
can she walk
surgery,
around, hasn't had any, so can she walk around with a vagina and breasts hanging out in the man's locker room? And you don't think men gonna look?
They have to prepare for this to happen. Because especially when we were talking the other day, Wendy, about the government and the laws changing where parents don't really have a say so if their young kid wants to have surgery. Let's just say, for sake of argument, a lot of kids, athletes, are trapped in somebody's body, like they've been saying, and they go and have the surgeries and they go and become the gender that they want to be. They're athletes. They want to still play. They want to play baseball. They want to play basketball. They got to start addressing this because more and more people are probably doing what kids are saying, where they don't do the sex change, but they're saying, I'm trapped in a woman's body.
Well, you know when they're going to address
You've
it?
been trapped in it for 18 years. I'm over you. You're going to be trapped in it. I will support you. I will help you through it, but I'm not going to do that until you're 18 years old. You need time to think. You're not even mature. You know, and this whole thing about the athletes, seriously, if I am who I am. If I was a transgender, I would not be trying to leech on it being women and getting what they're getting. I say, look, I'm me. This is who I am. I'm a different thing here. Don't try to be us, be yourself.
So as an athlete, we know other fields is easy and it's cut and dry. If you were a transgender actress, like what's her name from the Black Orange is the New Black, she's playing female parts. That's easy. But you as an athlete, how do you handle this as an athlete? If you're a boxer, if you are a track star,
it's different.
It's the athletes that are going to have the problem with this because you're different in the way you're made up and your muscle tone, but you still want to play the sport.
You can't unless you get your own. Everybody's saying get your own league. But here's the thing.
It's just like the Image Awards or Jeff Magazine or Ebony Magazine. Instead of trying to leech on and get what they had and beg for it, we created our own. I think transgenders should do the same thing. Instead of calling us names like cis and being on top of us or whatever. You are who you are. Be proud of it. I'm a trans woman.
So start a
You're
new
not a
league. Is what
regular
you're saying.
woman. You are a trans woman. Be proud of it. Don't
I
try to
agree.
jump on what we're jumping on and who we are.
Yeah.
You're not us. We're not you.
Emerald says, hey, ladies.
Hey, Emerald.
And
Hi,
she
Emerald.
said, hi, Wendy.
She said, hi, Wendy.
And then she says, I'm not a cisgender woman. She says,
No.
I agree with you, Wendy, wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I mean, do your own thing. Why are you trying to snatch what we have? Since you're different. Be proud
Well,
of it.
hopefully they'll go that way, because you're right. Because if
Then
you
just
got more
fight
people,
for your rights as a transgender instead of hating on us and calling us names.
Yeah.
That's
let's
not
see,
right.
let's see where it goes.
You
Because
trying to make, it's like they're trying to make us out to be monsters. We're
right,
not giving you that much thought, really. We're
Well,
not
if
thinking about you like that.
if you got the Caitlyn Jenner speaking on the opposite side of that, here's the thing. It's going to be that there's going to be people on Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner's side,
And then Brittney Griner.
He is an athlete. He is a
Well, she
transgender.
is now.
I'm saying Caitlyn now.
I remember being a kid and when he was on that cereal box.
Mhm.
Yeah.
God is my witness. God is my witness. I said, he looks like a girl.
Ooh,
That
stop.
was years ago. I didn't even really know anything about being gay.
You
I didn't know
called
what
that
gay
out
was,
already.
but I said in my mind, he looks like a girl.
Feminine.
He wanted to
Yeah.
probably be then. But here's the thing. Brittney Griner, she could say what she wants to say.
Mhm.
What's going to end up happening? This is what I'm predicting the future. Here I am.
Okay.
Like, remember Johnny Carson? He had this little thing on. He was the,
Oh, that
the
the
Martian.
genie of the future. Predict the future. What will come with Brittney Griner? She will be replaced with a transgender who will be
Okay.
6'9",
Uh-huh.
who used to play in the NBA, and now he wants to play in the WNBA.
Because he's a female.
And all the top WNBA players will be trans women who used to be in the NBA, who were on the bench, who could never get in front of the camera. And now they're celebrities. That's the future for Brittney
It hasn't
Griner.
her yet, you know,
Exactly.
because if she's at the low end of all the WNBA players, and more transgender players are coming into the WNBA from man to a female, his stats may be better than hers,
right.
and she would be sat down.
And here's the other thing that people don't say, then we'll move on.
Okay.
I was telling you before we started, how come we don't have this big grand flux of women who become men who are playing in sports and people complaining? You know why?
Why?
Because they're not
Why?
swimming laps around the guys.
Well,
That's
'Cause
why
what?
they're not at the top of the chain
Mhm.
when they decide to go from a woman to a man and play in sports.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
obviously
But
there's a difference.
But you'll have the same question, the same situation. If that man is transgendering, no, if that woman is transgendering to a male
Yeah.
and she's an athlete,
Yeah.
will she play in that transgender group?
Yeah. Let's see that. Let's
Wendy
see
is
her
saying.
run tracks around Usain Bolt now.
Yeah.
Let's see her slam dunk on LeBron James. Let's see all of that. The swimming against Michael Phelps. We ain't seen none
Her
of that.
level won't be that high anyway.
You
so.
know why?
Mhm.
Because there's a difference. But they don't want to say it's a difference. But it is
Yeah.
a difference.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll go on. Now we talked about yesterday. I mentioned it about
Right.
Nikki Haley saying that Joe Biden was going to die in 5 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
You
was
watched The
horrible.
View, and they talked about it today.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I knew somebody was going to bring this story up, y'all. That's
Yeah.
why I